Welcome back to another episode of Missionary Moneymaker. While making a dime is making a difference. I'm your podcast host, Carl James Winn Jr. This podcast episode today, it is the fifth podcast in the second season of Missionary Moneymaker. We're focusing on how Christians can strategically expand God's kingdom in 2026. Last week, we looked at positive influence, and we talked about what positive influence means. And this week, we're going to talk about how you are one person away, how positive influence helps to increase your impact as well as your income. And you're going to need this in 2026 if we're going to strategically expand God's kingdom in 2026. And first of all, I'm going to share about my personal story, how I came to this concept, how I got this idea, and how I'm also leveraging this idea that I'm one person away from increasing my impact, my income, and my influence. Think about this. You're one person away. You don't need more opportunities. You need clearer focus and the right relationships. You're one person away from greater impact, income, and influence when you steward relationships with intention. So let me just say this. What if your breakthrough isn't an idea, but a person? That's what's happened to me. Breakthrough for me is not just about ideas, but it's about people, the right person, the right person being in the right room. So we talked about in previous podcasts that we all have resources that God has entrusted to us. That's time, talent, treasures, and what I call trust, which are relationships. God gives us relationships for us to leverage in order for us to increase our impact and our income. And not only that, but it brings him glory and it helps other people. So as we think about your breakthrough, it's not about an idea, but it's about a person. Now, I would say this, that people are, that one person will be connected to your idea, because believe it or not, people want to be connected to ideas. People want to be connected to impact, value creation for other people. So that one person will want to be connected to a particular idea. What I want to share with you is that what I shared a little bit about last week in the podcast is that positive influence. What is it? What does it mean to be a positive influencer? It means that you are targeting your power to change. You are specifically aiming at a particular industry, a particular problem, a particular person, and you're saying, I want to change this. I want to impact this. I want to see the ball moving in this particular area or this particular person or eliminate this particular problem. And so influence isn't accidental, it's aimed. A positive influencer is one who is focused on a particular niche, on a particular audience, a particular industry, a particular problem, and you know what you're going to, because people are attractive to target. So my story, how did I get here? In 2010, I moved from a small country town called Navasota, Texas. Shout out to my fellow Navasodians hopefully someone is listening to this podcast. And I moved back to Houston. Now I grew up in Navasota, so I know everybody in Navasota. So a small country boy coming back to the city. And so from 2010 to 2012, I had to hustle to build relationships. So remember, I'm coming from a small town to a big city. And I really didn't know many people at all other than my family, other people who were connected to a ministry that I was familiar with, that I was going to be connected with. But other than that, I didn't know anybody. So I had to come to Houston and I needed to build relationships. Not only did I move to a new location, but I also, in 2010, I met my wife. So a new relationship. And within 10 months, we were married. So a new place that I'm living in, a new relationship, a new marriage, right? I'm married. And then not only that, but from 2010 to 2012, all of these life changes. And the third major life changes, I started a business. So I went from a secure business where I didn't need to really build relationships. My relationships were at my job. I was a corrections officer, so I just went in and I left. I really didn't need to build relationships outside of work. But in starting a business in 2011, it forced me to build relationships. So I was forced to build relationships in order for me to grow my business. In order for me to grow my network, I needed to build relationships. So I was driven to build relationships out of necessity. And let me tell you, that has been something that I've learned to love to do. I love building relationships. I love connecting with people. And quite frankly, as people have told me, that I'm good at it. I not only love to do it, but I am good at it. As well as I am not at the top of my game yet because I'm still growing at building relationships. Don't let the music die with you. I've had several conversations with Christians about wanting to write a book. And I always like to tell them, don't let the music die with you. So I've put together this resource called 5 Steps to Discovering Your Unique Book Idea. It's a free resource that if you download and get started with writing a book. As Zig Ziglar once said, you don't have to be great to start, but in order to be great, you must start. So if you want to write a book, you got to start somewhere. We've put together this resource because I believe, and I know for a fact, writing a book has been one of the ways that I've been able to increase my income, my impact, and my influence. And I want that to be the same for you. And I believe that you have a book inside of you, that if you write it, you're going to bless the world through it. So go ahead and download this PDF. The link will be in the show notes. And I just want to hear about your book. Let's go do it. So that is my story. And so over the last 15 years, I went from not knowing hardly anybody in Houston to knowing a lot of people. So as I share with you, is that positive influence is focused on a particular target. And as you know, if you've been listening to this podcast, my focus is to deploy Christians into the marketplace. So I'm focused on Christians. How can I impact Christian. So my positive influence is focused on influencing Christian, helping to change the way Christians see the marketplace. And so in 2026, my focus is to help 10,000 Christians write and publish a book. Remember, positive influence. I'm focused. I know what I'm going after. And the reason why is because I know that I have a limited amount of capacity. I have a limited amount of resources. So I want to focus my resources on impacting my target audience, impacting the people that I believe God is calling me to impact, so that those individuals can go out and make an impact. So if that's you and you are a Christian and you've been talking about, I want to write a book, you need to connect with me because I want to help you write and publish a book. In fact, I don't want the music to die with you. I want you to sing that song while you still have breath. So with that in mind, I created a framework on how to help Christians write a book, how to help people write a book, but I'm focused directly on Christians. And so through that framework, I've written and published 7 books, working on my 8th book, and 19th is all coming. That is my focus. So as you think about your positive influence, you need to get focused on your target. So the real question is, how do we find that one person? We're one person away. And you have to get clear on your target audience. You need to make sure that you're clear on it. So we've already talked about that. But the second thing that you have to do is that you need to network with intention, not exhaustion. Since you know your target audience, you need to find out where are the people that you want to influence, but also the people that you want to influence you. And you need to strategically go to those places and connect with those people. And what that implies is that you have to be strategic in what to say no to. Remember, last week we talked about in the last podcast, you want to leverage your no, navigating opportunities. So remember, we only have 8,736 hours in a year. We have only a limited amount of hours also in a week. And we have to be strategic on how we use those limited amount of hours. We have to say no to some things so that we can get focused. So you can't be running all over town. You need to be specific. Remember, your target audience, if you're focused on positive influence, is going to inform your network, your how you're going to network. And the second thing is you want to do is that you want to join a mastermind group. In 2026, find a mastermind group or a community, join it, and rub elbows with people who are focused on making an impact. Join those groups, whether it's virtual or in person. Get connected to a mastermind group so that you can not only bring something of value to the table, but when you walk away, you're going to walk away with something of value. But not only that, remember, everybody that's going to be in that room, everybody that's going to be in that community, they're going to have relationships that they can open, that they can share with you. So they can open doors for you. Matter of fact, one of those individuals in that room may be that one person that you need, that one person that may be able to introduce you to somebody else. So, just a story. I already told you where I'm from, Navasota. Recently, me and my wife, we went on a marriage date with a particular church in Pearland, Texas. And it so happened that there were two people, well, I gotta say 3 to 4 people in the room knew people that I knew already. Remember, this was a new room that I was going into. I really didn't know anybody, but the people in that room knew people that I knew. So it was funny. And 2 people, they knew people from Navasota. In fact, they had family members from Navasota, Texas. So a small world. So remember, we're one person away, and we need to be in these rooms, networking, building relationship, being very strategic about how we're going. So when you go into these mastermind groups or when you go into these communities, you need to be thinking about you're one person away. Now, I do want to caution you, don't go into these rooms just being a consumer. You want to go into the room being a contributor. Think of this mastermind group as a potluck. Everybody brings something to the table, and everybody receive value from everyone else because everybody is bringing something to the table. And a few years ago, I came up with this principle that I now live by. Again, this principle has always existed, but I've just identified it and I've begun to live by it. And the principle is simply this: collective awareness equals multiplied value. Let me say that again. Collective awareness equals multiplied value. And what that implies is that when you go into these rooms, you're going to have an idea. And when you share that idea, when other people begin to invest in the idea, share more information, help you shape up that idea becomes more valuable. I want to let you know about another resource we have. It's called How to Write a Book in a Day. If you go to carlwinn.com, we have a resource for you to write your book. And guess what? It's not going to take 2 months, 3 months, but we have a template laid out so that you can do it in a day. If you go through, you'll be able to see what all we have available so that you can do it. This is the same framework that I've used to write 5, 6, 7, 8 books of my own. If you've been thinking about, I want to write a book, this is your opportunity to do that. So go to carlwinn.com. You can see what it all offers and go ahead and get the course and write your book, because I want to buy it. I want to read it. But also there's some other person that needs your book. That is a resource for you. God bless you. And let's get back to the show. And not only that, but that when you're in these rooms, people begin to share their own ideas and you learn from it, and quite naturally you grow. And so you become more valuable. Your ideas become more valuable. And that's where multiplied value come in. That's where exponential growth happens when you're in the room with the right people who are sharing value, who are looking to grow. So you want to join a mastermind group. And then the last thing you want to think about is leveraging social media. And specifically, I leverage LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn because number one, I find people that I've met throughout the week and see if they're on there, and I connect with them. Well, again, I'm meeting people online, I'm meeting people offline, I'm meeting people all over the place. And I'm trying to say, okay, if they're on LinkedIn, I'm going to connect with them. Because you have to think about it, on LinkedIn, other people are connected to those individuals. So you can somewhat see who they're connected to. And through that, you can build relationships. You can maybe mention, hey, you know this person. So it helps you to build relationships with other people. But then the second thing it does is that it allows you to add value on LinkedIn. So what I do is when I go to places or I meet with a person or I go to different events, I like to share about things that I've learned there and the people that I've met. And and so I'll create a post. And in that post, I'll normally copy somebody in that post that I've met that day or mention them something. It could be a new person I met or it can be an old person, but I'm mentioning them and I'm talking about where I've been. I'm telling stories of how I've been impacted, stories about how I've impacted other people, things that I'm doing. And this helps me build relationship and people connect with me. They look me up and say, okay, who is this person? And they connect with me. And so through that, on different subscriptions you have on LinkedIn, it allows you to see, maybe who viewed your profile. Somebody may be interested in you, and you can reach out to them. Say, hey, I saw that you were maybe interested in me, and I just wanted to connect. And so, one thing is just have an open profile. Let people connect with you. So you want to use LinkedIn to convert offline relationships to online, as well as you want to use online relationship and connect them to offline. I've done both. So leverage social media. If you're going to strategically expand God's kingdom in the marketplace in 2026, you have to understand it's going to happen through relationships. You're one person away from increasing your impact, your income. And remember, you need to become a positive influencer. Get clear, because that is how you're going to make an impact. So I have a question. Who is one person you need to meet next? Who is that one person you need to meet next? Now, I will also say, if you're listening to this podcast, who is one person that you think that I need to meet next? Because I'm always interested in meeting people. And if you know somebody that I need to be connected to based on the things that I've shared, based on the things that I'm looking at doing, reach out to me. I'll have my contact in the show notes, and reach out to me because I want to connect. I want to grow a list. I understand I'm one person away. So I want to know, I need that one other person. So if God grows impact through people, is neglecting relationship wisdom or disobedience? Sit with that as we close. You're not one strategy away. You're one relationship away from multiplying your impact, your income, and your influence for God's glory. If this podcast has impacted you, has blessed you, go ahead and make a comment, leave a review on Spotify, Apple, leave a comment on YouTube if you're watching it on YouTube, but also share with other people. And if I can help you, I mean it, if I can really help you, reach out to me, because I want to see you increase your impact, your income, and influence in 2026. Let's go out and make an impact. God bless you.